Armen Georgian's been listening in to that press conference with me as well. Armen, are we any clearer? Is there any more information on plans to open these ports in Ukraine to get all of this grain out to where it needs to go around the world?
There wasn't any detail that actually gives us a very clear idea of how this is going to work. I mean, both ministers talked about it a lot, but we still don't know exactly how Ukrainian cargo ships are going to be made safe when they travel to neutral waters. The Turkish foreign minister did not confirm that Turkish ships would be in playing that role of escorting Ukrainian ships. So it's not clear exactly how it's going to work, but the first stage obviously would be to demine the waters around Ukrainian ports. And Sergei Lavrov said towards the end of that press conference, if Ukraine does that, if it demines, then Russia will definitely not misuse the operation. The Ukrainian foreign minister had something to say about that very idea yesterday. He said you can't trust a word of what a Russian official says about not using demining as an excuse to launch fresh missile attacks, perhaps on Odessa or somewhere else. So we haven't even got to the very first stage, which is demining the ports, let alone the second stage of who provides security for Ukrainian ships before they end up in neutral waters. And a third layer, which we should mention quickly, is something that the Turkish foreign minister said, that it's important to check ships to make sure that they don't have weapons on board. I suspect he was referring to Syria, but he didn't actually say that explicitly.
Now, both men also talked about the possibility of negotiations in the war. What did they say?
Well, there's no date for any meeting between, there's been talk in the past of a trilateral summit, Presidents Erdogan, Putin and Zelensky. There's no date set for that. Lavrov said the ball is in Ukraine's court. Obviously, Ukraine, needless to say, does not see the ball being in their court. So the diplomacy really it felt from this press conference that it was at a dead end. Everyone is saying, well, it's not up to us. Someone else should take the initiative. So no real progress. One gets the impression on the diplomatic front. Turkey simply reiterating that it's willing to play a role of mediator because I think that was the gist of Çavuşoğlu's comments, that he thinks Turkey is credible because it hasn't enacted sanctions on Russia, that unlike European countries and the US, and therefore could be seen as some kind of neutral broker. But clearly the conditions are not in place for that summit between Putin, Zelensky and Erdogan.
All right, Armen, thanks so much for that.